The colony of New Dawn was a testament to humanity's resilience. Nestled on the verdant world of Aurora 7, it thrived under twin suns, its people cultivating life where once there was only wilderness. Children played in the fields of luminescent grass, their laughter mingling with the hum of harvest drones. For a moment, it seemed that humanity had finally found peace. Elena, a teacher and community leader, stood at the edge of the settlement, watching her son, Aaron, chase fireflies with his friends. Her heart swelled with pride as she thought of the generations to come who would inherit this paradise. The colony was a place of hope, untouched by the conflicts that had plagued Earth for centuries. That illusion shattered with the arrival of shadows across the sky. The first sign was the eerie silence. The drones froze mid-task, their systems disrupted by an unseen force. The children stopped playing, their eyes drawn upward as dark shapes eclipsed the suns. Elena's communicator crackled with fragmented warnings from the colony's security team. Unidentified vessels, hostile intent, brace for. The signal cut out, replaced by the deafening roar of alien craft descending upon the settlement. The sleek, angular ships emitted beams of crimson light, cutting through buildings with ruthless precision. Panic erupted as colonists scrambled for cover, the peaceful fields now a battleground. Elena grabbed Aaron's hand and ran, her mind racing as explosions erupted around her. "Stay close," she urged, her voice trembling. "Don't let go of my hand." The invaders emerged from their ships, towering figures clad in exoskeletal armor that shimmered with an otherworldly hue. Their movements were calculated, their weapons designed not just to kill, but to instill terror. They herded the colonists into groups, their guttural language a cruel mockery of communication. Elena's heart sank as she saw one of the creatures seize a child by the arm. The alien's clawed hand was almost gentle, but the child's scream cut through the chaos. It was not the act of a predator seeking prey. It was the deliberate cruelty of an oppressor savoring dominance. The invaders had no use for the children. Elena clutched Aaron tighter, her mind consumed with a single thought: survival. She ducked into the ruins of a schoolhouse, her breathing ragged as she scanned the room for anything that could be used as a weapon. A broken chair leg, it splintered and jagged, was all she could find. "Mom," Aaron whispered, tears streaming down his face. "What's happening?" She knelt beside him, forcing herself to meet his terrified gaze. "Bad people are here," she said softly, her voice firm despite the fear clawing at her throat. "But we're going to be okay. I promise." Outside, the invaders began to withdraw, their work seemingly done. Smoke rose from the shattered remnants of the colony, and the anguished cries of survivors filled the air. Elena peered through the broken window, her grip on Aaron never loosening. In the distance, she saw a young colonist standing defiantly before the aliens, clutching a makeshift spear. The child hurled it with all his strength, the weapon bouncing harmlessly off the alien's armor. The invader paused, tilting its head as if amused, before raising its weapon. The beam of light was blinding, and when it faded, the child was gone. Elena turned away, tears blurring her vision as she clung to Aaron. But amidst the grief, a new emotion took root: fury. The invaders had made a fatal mistake. They had underestimated humanity's resolve. Far above the planet, a distress beacon pulsed into the void, its message clear and unyielding. "They have harmed the innocent. Humanity will respond." The invaders had awakened a force they could not comprehend. The message from Aurora 7 had been chilling in its simplicity. They have harmed the innocent. Humanity will respond. Within hours, Earth's response was mobilized. Humanity's interstellar fleet, long a symbol of peace through strength, prepared for war. Admiral Cale Moran stood on the bridge of the flagship Sovereign Fury. The vessel was a masterpiece of human ingenuity, bristling with weapons capable of turning entire planets into dust. But this wasn't about destruction. It was about justice. Cale's voice was steady as he addressed his crew. "They slaughtered children," he said, his words cutting through the tension on the bridge. "They thought we wouldn't fight back. Today, they learned the cost of their cruelty." The fleet entered Caerwandar-occupied space like a storm, their arrival marked by the blinding flare of hyperspace drives. The alien ships, sleek and predatory, hovered in low orbit over the shattered colony, scavenging its ruins. Kale's expression hardened as the KR-Wyandar vessels turned toward them, their weapons charging. "Open a channel," he ordered. The image of a KR-Wyandar warlord filled the main display. The creature's scaled face curled into something resembling a sneer. "You dare interfere," it hissed. "This world is ours now." Kale's reply was ice cold. "This world belongs to the people you butchered. You have no claim here, only a reckoning." With a nod from Kale, the Sovereign Fury fired its opening salvo. Massive railguns unleashed kinetic projectiles that tore through the KR-Wyandar ships, shattering their formations. The fleet followed suit, missiles and energy beams lighting up the void in a symphony of destruction. The KR-Wyandar fought back fiercely, their ships weaving through the chaos with predatory grace. But humanity had prepared for this. Advanced AI-guided fighters intercepted the enemy's movements, striking with deadly precision. Kale's second-in-command, Commander Arya Voss, coordinated the fleet's maneuvers with surgical efficiency. "Target their command ships," Arya instructed. "Cut off their leadership and the rest will crumble." On the surface, humanity's ground forces landed amidst the ruins of New Dawn. Armored soldiers moved as a single, unstoppable force, their exosuits enhancing their speed and strength. They swept through the colony, rescuing survivors and neutralizing KR-Wyandar ground troops. Among the survivors was Elena, still clutching her son, Aaron. She looked up as a human soldier extended a hand. "You're safe now," the soldier said, their voice resolute through the helmet's comms. Elena's eyes burned with tears of relief, but she shook her head. "What about the ones they took?" The soldier's silence spoke volumes. Back in orbit, the tide of battle shifted decisively. The KR-Wyandar flagship, a massive dreadnought bristling with weapons, attempted to flee. Kale's voice cut through the comms. "Not today." The Sovereign Fury's main weapon charged, a railgun designed to penetrate planetary shields. The projectile struck the KR-Wyandar dreadnought, splitting it in half. The explosion lit up the dark sky, the debris falling like meteors over Aurora 7. As the last KR-Wyandar ship was destroyed, silence fell over the fleet. The battlefield was eerily calm, the wreckage of alien ships drifting in the void. Kale's gaze remained fixed on the screen, his fists clenched. "This isn't over," he said. "The KR-Wyandar were just the beginning. Someone sent them here, knowing what they would do. We find them next." Arya stepped forward, her expression as hard as Kale's. "And when we do?" Kale turned to face her, his eyes cold and unyielding. "We show them what happens when you harm the innocent." Below, the survivors of New Dawn looked to the sky, their faith in humanity's wrath restored. But Kale knew this was only the first chapter in a war that would span the stars. The Sovereign Fury drifted in the silence of deep space, its mission far from over. The destruction of the KR-Wyandar forces over Aurora 7 had been swift and brutal, but Admiral Kale Moran knew the true enemy still lingered in the shadows. The KR-Wyandar were predators, yes, but they were also pawns. Someone had unleashed them on New Dawn, knowing the devastation they would bring. Kale stood on the bridge, staring at the tactical display. The wreckage of KR-Wyandar ships floated in orbit over Aurora 7, a stark reminder of the cost of the battle. "Have we traced their origins?" he asked, his voice as sharp as the edge of a blade. Commander Arya Voss stepped forward. "Yes, Admiral. The KR-Wyandar were acting under orders from a larger coalition, the Terran Union. They supplied the KR-Wyandar with weapons and coordinates, hoping to test our defenses." Kale's jaw tightened. The Terran Union was a loose alliance of alien species that viewed humanity's expansion with disdain. This was no random raid. It was a calculated act of war. "Set a course for the Dominion's core system," Kale ordered. "We're delivering a message." The fleet moved like a shadow through hyperspace, the cold determination of its crew fueling every jump. When they arrived in the Terran Dominion's territory, the scene was one of stark contrast to the devastation of Aurora 7. Vast cities sprawled across planets, bustling with activity. These were not marauders like the HFY, they were planners, manipulators. Kale wasted no time. The Sovereign Fury broadcast a transmission across the system, its message clear and unmistakable. This is Admiral Kale Moran of the United Earth Fleet. You armed the HFY. You orchestrated the massacre on Aurora 7. Your actions have consequences. The Sarek Dominion's response came swiftly. A towering hologram of Chancellor Vorton, the Dominion's leader, appeared on the Sovereign Fury's bridge. The alien's elongated features twisted into a smug grin. You dare accuse us without evidence? Vorton said. Aurora 7 was an unfortunate misunderstanding. Kale's reply was devoid of emotion. We recovered your transmission logs. The time for lies is over. Surrender the architects of this atrocity, or we'll take them ourselves. Vorton's expression darkened. You wouldn't dare. Kale didn't hesitate. Watch us. The fleet advanced, targeting the Dominion's key military installations. Humanity's technology, forged in centuries of conflict and survival, outmatched the Dominion's defenses at every turn. Orbital platforms crumbled, and shipyards were reduced to molten wreckage. The Dominion's fleets scrambled to respond but found themselves hopelessly outmaneuvered. On the surface of the Dominion's capital planet, Arya led a surgical strike team to apprehend the leaders responsible for the Aurora 7 massacre. The mission was swift and unrelenting. Humanity's soldiers dismantling resistance with precision. They breached the Dominion Central Command, capturing key officials, including the ministers who had orchestrated the HFY attack. The final confrontation came in the Dominion's Grand Council chamber. Chancellor Vorton, now cornered and defiant, sneered at Kale and Arya. You think this will end with us? You've made enemies of half the galaxy. Kale stepped forward, his gaze unflinching. Let them come. But first, they'll see what happens to those who harm the innocent. As the Dominion's leadership was taken into custody, Kale transmitted a final message to the galaxy. Humanity stands for peace, but we will not tolerate cruelty or cowardice. Let this serve as a warning. Harm the innocent, and you will face the full measure of our wrath. The fleet departed, leaving the Dominion's shattered systems in its wake. On the bridge of the Sovereign Fury, Kale allowed himself a moment of reflection. The reckoning had been delivered, but he knew this was only the beginning. Humanity's place in the galaxy had shifted, and the future was uncertain. Arya, he said, turning to his second-in-command, prepare the fleet. The galaxy isn't done testing us. Arya nodded, a faint smirk crossing her lips. And we're not done proving them wrong. Below, the liberated colonists of Aurora 7 began to rebuild, their scars a reminder of the cost of peace and the power of humanity's wrath.